An Atheist's History of Belief, Understanding Our Most Extraordinary Invention, by Matthew Kneale, read by Daniel Weyman. Let us consider that we are all partially insane. It will explain us to each other. It will unriddle many riddles. It will make clear many things which are involved in haunting and harassing difficulties and obscurities now. Mark Twain, Christian Science. Imagination rules the world. Napoleon Bonaparte. Introduction. As the son of a Manx Methodist atheist and a refugee German Jewish atheist, I have never been much of a believer. Yet, like everyone else, I find myself surrounded by belief. Belief was in the Lord's Prayer that I murmured uneasily at school assembly, wondering if it was quite done for someone like me to repeat the words. Belief was in the churches and later the mosques, synagogues and temples that I visited on travels. For that matter, a form of belief was responsible, among many other things, for my own existence, when it forced my mother to flee from Germany to England, where she met my father. Growing up in England gave me a vague knowledge of the official version, at least of Christianity. What, I sometimes wondered, had really happened? What had caused people to come up with such strange-seeming notions as paradise, or sin, or gods? This book is an attempt, finally, to satisfy my curiosity. Broad questions, such as why did people invent gods, are, unsurprisingly, hard to answer with certainty, yet I have tried to offer ideas. Where possible, I have sought answers from specialist scholars. When questions have been so broad that scholars, no doubt wisely, have averted their eyes, I have done what I can. One subject this book is not concerned with is the history of religious institutions. I find little fascination in organizational power struggles. I wanted to know what ordinary people believed. Something else I was keen to avoid was religious jargon. I have tried to recount, as clearly as I could, how beliefs evolved, without recourse to terms that require looking up in a theological dictionary. In these pages, you will find no mention of dualism, monism, or transubstantiation. Though I have tried to give an overall picture of people's beliefs, I will not claim that this picture is complete, or even balanced. I have concentrated on those beliefs that I was most curious about, and that seemed to fall into something resembling a story. Though I have looked at beliefs in China, India, and the Middle East, as well as the religions of the Mayans, Aztecs, and Incas, I have paid particular attention to Christianity and its parent, Judaism. This book does not look exclusively at religious belief. I have also glanced at a couple of creeds that are, supposedly, purely political, such as Marxism. I have done so because these ideologies seem, in some ways, remarkably like religions. What is more, many of their ideas were descended from earlier religious notions that one would not normally associate with 20th century politics. This book does not seek to belittle religion. On the contrary, the more I have looked at intense beliefs, the more I have found them fascinating. They say so much about us. As a fiction writer who tries to make a livelihood from imagination, I have considerable professional respect for what is, I would propose, humankind's greatest imaginative project. It is a project that has had a huge role in shaping our past. Non-believers ignore it at their peril. Our beliefs have been a conduit for much of our finest creativity in literature, art, music, and architecture. They have also inspired a surprising number of our greatest technological breakthroughs. Beliefs have frequently played a role in shaping the course of great events. I would go so far as to suggest that human history can be rather better understood, not through the clear air of logic and scientific discovery, but through the murky waters of intense, emotional, and at times downright odd beliefs. Where and when can one begin to discover such beliefs? The answer is rather earlier than one might think. Chapter 1. Inventing Gods. Someone who picked up a piece of mammoth tusk. Around 33,000 years ago, in what is now Baden-Württemberg, in southwest Germany, but which was then a frozen wilderness nestling between great ice sheets, somebody picked up a piece of mammoth tusk and,
Sample complete. Ready to continue?